If you're ever speaking to me like that again, you better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained.
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And we are at episode 68, Dave. You know we are one away from the magic number. So just remember, in September of 2021, Dave will reveal all.
It's going to be a very brief episode.
Well, you know, you promised our listeners we can't go 5 years and not get what we were supposed to be delivered. Come on now.
I believe you promised on my behalf.
Well, that might be, but I think you can pull at least one folder out of the cauldron of secrets that is your life that you could share with our listeners next time.
Oh, will you be doing the same?
Sure, why not? But I'm an open book.
I heard there was a hesitation in your in your response.
I'm trying to think what I haven't revealed already. I'm trying to figure it out.
I see.
I'll come up with, if not, I'll make up something just to make you feel better. See,
I'll know you're full of garbage.
Okay, all right, we'll see. Maybe we'll play a little game about that.
Okay, here we go.
You got it. So anyway, we got plenty of Van Halen news to get through, so let's hit it.
Van Halen.
News! Well, boy, Dave, we have a feud on our hands. I never thought we'd get to this stage of the band. Well, the band does not even exist anymore. But David Lee Roth and Gene Simmons are in and out WWF level 1984 feud, which I'm so excited about because these two guys are always at the mouth with the press. And the minute one flicks something at one, the other one's going to retaliate right away. So this really came crazy. So everybody's been wondering, Kiss is now back on the road. They resumed their end of the road tour. We last left Kiss prior to the pandemic. Obviously, they did that New Year's Eve pay-per-view, okay, but that doesn't count. They haven't been on the road. Now they're back on the road. Now, Dave and I talked about this a while back. Remember, they were playing Connecticut, Dave, and I was like, oh, if David Lee Roth opens up, will you go? And we're like, oh, we'll see what the ticket prices are like. This is like probably back, God, I don't even know.
This had to be like 18 months ago.
No, maybe less than that, because I didn't think they announced these dates. It was a while. It was easily 2020 when we talked about it, for sure. So anyway, Kiss is back on the road. They're doing another leg through the United States. I don't even know what leg they're on at this point. It's crazy. But I saw, as I reported, back in early 2020, Dave opened for Kiss when he was in, I don't know, where the hell did I go? I think it was Pennsylvania, something like that. You know, I had said to Dave, hey, listen, you know, Dave lives in Connecticut. If they play Connecticut, you know, would you go? He's like, oh, we'll see what the tickets are. Well, everybody's been wondering if Dave is opening for Kiss. He's not. He's not opening for Kiss. We reported on this multiple times. I think we went over it with Ron and this and that. Who's opening? We kept checking. He was on a few dates, then he was off a few dates, and then the whole thing, he wasn't on any dates. It was merely Ticketmaster not removing him from the date. So what happens is everybody's been wondering whether David Lee Roth will open for Kiss. Everybody's been asking. Well, he's not. He's not touring with Kiss for sure. Well, Gene Simmons, going back on the road, did an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, right? So they asked him about Dave, you know, just kind of a regular question. Wasn't anything too deep or sinister or anything like that. They simply asked him, before the pandemic halted the tour, David Lee Roth was opening for Kiss. Now it's the performance painter, Garibaldi. So David is not back? Very simple question. And this is how Gene responded. Not, as in not back. But it bears noting that during Dave's heyday, nobody did what he did. He was the ultimate frontman. Not Plant, not Stewart, nobody. He took being a frontman way beyond anything. And then I don't know what happened to him. Something. You get modern day Dave. I prefer to remember Elvis Presley in his prime. Sneering lips, back in Memphis, you know, doing all that. I don't want to think of bloated naked Elvis on the bathroom floor. Now, I thought this was so fucking unnecessary. I mean, it was like unbelievable, like a total swipe at Dave. First of all, he sets it up. Oh, you know, one of the greatest frontmen, this and that. And then something happened to him. All that. First of all, calling Dave bloated Elvis is insane because Dave is in sick shape for a guy who's 65 years old. That's number one. Holy shit. I mean, that's like the last thing you should be calling him. But he's also not in that level. I mean, granted, he's a rock singer. He doesn't have the voice he once had. Sure, but he's still very much Dave. Now, the weird thing is, if you remember when I reported on Dave opening for Kiss in early 2020, Dave was on fire. He was ripping up his set. He was doing well. It wasn't just me saying it. A lot of people who saw him open, great reviews. Dave was killing it. Now, one thing he did not say is people keep assuming that his comments here was that Kiss kicked him off the tour. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. And the weird part of this whole thing is Paul Stanley comes in and he chimes into the thing and says, I remember seeing him, meaning Dave, in the 70s with Van Halen at Madison Square Garden and thinking to myself, there's a new sheriff in town. Just amazing what he had evolved into over a few short years. On stage, he's still Diamond Dave. I don't know if Paul was trying to smooth things over with that comment, so this got weird. So then Dave being Dave, right? He just sends out through social media black and white pictures of this little blonde kid with sunglasses on flipping the bird. And it says, Roth to Simmons, which I thought was classic Dave. And the funny thing about the kid was, the kid looks like the kid on the cover of the 1984 album. Like, he looks just like him, which is really kind of funny. Now, I'm telling you, what I have heard from behind the scenes is that Dave didn't want to tour. He got himself off that tour because of COVID. He's not doing any touring whatsoever. So he's kind of holed up. In fact, Eddie Trunk reported that he heard from industry insiders that David Lee Roth might not be doing any more touring ever. Another sign of this is his guitarist Al Estrada. That guy, remember him? He was really good. We saw him in Vegas. He left Dave's group to take a lead guitar gig in Rat, which is interesting because it seems like, well, if Dave's not going to have any work for this guy, he might as well, obviously get another job. So this is really crazy. This really fired things up. Now, we all know that Gene and Dave have history. And if you don't believe me, listen to this clip of Dave.
We did a demo with Gene once upon a time, and it was our first experience with professional Madison Avenue management. Yeah. Turns out he was looking to get Ed Van Halen into the band. I kind of smelled campfire smoke early in the journey. I was always very protective of the band, and we came to New York City, and we made like a 4-song CD, a demo rather, and we went up to the manager's office, and he sat there and had his shoes shined by a little Italian guy at the big desk while he told us, guys, I think the music is stellar, but we need to replace the vocalist, Dave. I'm terribly sorry, but with some other beginning bands like Piper and stuff such, maybe we can place you there. And I just felt terrible.
And that's Dave on the Stern Show talking about how he always felt that Gene was trying to steal Eddie from him. We remember the stories. I forgot whose book it was. It might have been Noel's book, where Gene left tickets for the band for a Kiss show at the Will Call, and he left tickets for everybody in the band but Dave. I mean, just like really weird stuff. So Dave has always gotten a strange vibe from Gene. I don't know what's going on here, but I thought Gene's comments were completely unnecessary. I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
Before Gene starts saying anything about Dave, he should probably look at his own band.
Yeah.
He should probably look at the guy next to him.
Right.
And maybe in the mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be giving flack for Dave that, oh, well, he used to be great. He's not so good anymore. I mean, say what you want about Dave, but he was up there singing on his own, and he wasn't using any tracks to cover up the lead vocals.
That's true. That's very
right? I mean, granted, he was using the background vocals from the original songs.
Right.
But he wasn't using the lead vocals from the songs.
Right.
And I know a lot of people have been critical about Dave's vocals over the years, and it's fair. But like you said, on this last tour, he had actually sounded better than he had in a long time.
Yeah, well, we saw him in Vegas. You saw those shows were great. The two that we saw were great. The first one, I wasn't there, but a lot of people said was a little rough, but they were just coming out of the gate. When we saw him, he was fantastic. When I saw him in, I think it was PA, I forgot the name of the town, but it was Pennsylvania. Holy shit. I mean, he really ripped the place up, and I don't know, maybe...
Right. But, Gene did not have to go in that direction. All he had to do was say, no, Dave's not on tour with us anymore, so we got the painter back. and that would have been the end of it.
I know.
You know, but no, he can't resist. And Dave couldn't resist either.
I know.
Which actually was kind of surprising because normally a lot of this stuff that's said, Dave does not respond to
Right.
at all. He doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's beneath him and whatever. But with Gene, I think Gene is one of the few people who can get under his skin.
Yeah, he really...
because of their prior history.
Yeah, he's got like a thing with Gene. But Gene has always been shitty to Dave for like a long time. It's a really kind of weird. But anyway.
It's sad. But anyway, yeah, Dave's not opening for Kiss. I'm glad I did not buy any tickets to see Kiss because I really would have been ticked that I would have been stuck with these tickets.
Right.
Because you can't get a refund because the opening act changed.
That's true. And the funny thing is that I think it's more that Gene is pissed Dave is not with them.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
I bet you're right.
Because let's be honest, it lessens the ticket.
Yes.
I mean, you know,
Yes.
and I mean, no one's coming to see the painter. And let me tell you something. That guy, I think his name is Dave Garibaldi. Unbelievable painter. And I never thought I'd be entertained by a painter, but this guy is really amazing. He literally makes a rock painting in front of you in a very charismatic, splashy way, and it's like unbelievable. Like, it's on do Freddie Mercury and all these different, like, big-time legendary characters, and he does a gorgeous... And then he takes the painting, and he raffles it off for charity, and it gets, like, thousands of dollars. And so that's kind of a cool element, and it's entertaining, and he plays music, and he has lights going when he does it. It's a nice, actual thing to watch. It's cool, but Dave was really getting the crowd going. When I saw him, he was slamming, and he was really on. He really was. He was really giving it his all, but I really believe that Dave is not touring, man. He is off the road. Dave is not, you have to realize, first of all, Dave does not need the money. Second of all, he's older. I mean, he's not going to take the chance running around. You got to realize, people don't realize how much running around touring is. It's really unbelievable, but Dave, it's so crazy, just to give you a little taste, because I know you get a kick out of Gene and his money habits. So you know how a lot of bands in today's COVID world are kind of foregoing the meet and greet experience, right? Well, you know Gene doesn't like to leave money on the table. So they're creating plexiglass boxes to have meet and greets with Kiss, so that the guests, if they buy a VIP pass, get put into a plexiglass box as Kiss walks into the room. Only Kiss. So other people are just bypassing, doing meet and greets, bypassing the VIP. They are not going to let go of that cash. They are not doing that.
Does the plexiglass box have holes in it to breathe, or
No.
basically you go in the box and you got 5 minutes for Kiss to walk by before you pass out?
I don't know what the
How does
situation
that
is.
work?
Maybe they
You're like
pump...
the boy in the You're like John Travolta. You're like the boy in the plastic bubble.
Exactly. Maybe they pump oxygen into the plexiglass.
I must be misunderstanding it. I got to see this to see how. This
I'm sure they must get like a Kiss mask. You know what I mean? Like, there must be like a whole process.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But only Kiss would do this. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, and for the higher VIP, you get the larger plexiglass box. If you want a luxury plexiglass box, or you want just the plain plexiglass.
I was waiting for the Gene Simmons impersonation. Thank you for not.
Oh my God! Please, unbelievable.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Here's some late-breaking news for you guys. Just after we wrapped the Van Halen news segment, Gene Simmons, bassist for Kiss, apologized to David Lee Roth for his comments. Here's a clip.
I don't mean to hurt people's feelings, and every once in a while, diarrhea of the mouth comes out. I am so sorry and ashamed, actually, that I hurt David's feelings. I'm the guy, actually, that saw them in a club, signed them to my production company, Man of a Thousand Faces, flew them to New York, produced their first 24-track, 15-song demo, and, championed the band. And actually, we took David out as our opening act on the tour. And in the course of an interview,